Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, all over the world. Dobson777a here. Well, I hope everybody's having a really good time getting ready for Christmas. It's getting closer and closer. Um, Still kind of doing a bunch of stuff. You can see we moved the Christmas tree in the background here. It was kind of in the way by the door. The dog's tails kept knocking those silver balls off on the bottom, and they were flying all over the place. So we had to move it out of the way of the door. And I got another thing right over here. That's the coolest thing we got from Hobby Lobby. It's got it's like a snow globe, but it's got a stirrer inside there, but it has an LED light, and it's just so fancy looking. I love it. Everything at Hobby Lobby is 50% off. Oh, Aftomat, you stole my thunder. Oh, actually, I put it in the title. Folks, platinum is up like 200 bucks since November. Let me go back and look over here again. Where is that thing? I couldn't believe it when I looked at this thing. If you go back to like October 30th, platinum's up over 200 bucks. That's huge. So it is really going crazy. Nice snowstorm in Massachusetts, huh? Well, you can keep the snow. We get some every once in a while. You guys would probably call it a dusting. I think the most I've gotten here since I've been up in North Georgia is about 4 or 5 inches. That was more than enough. But I did something else to myself, and it all had to do with this. I was making some bread and butter pickles, and I had one of these as seen on TV things where you put it in, you squeeze it, and it cuts the pickles. And I thought I could do it faster, so I got one of those like cheese grater things, and I was doing the cucumbers, slicing them. And as I was doing, I go, no, I think this is a little too fast and dangerous. And as I said, dangerous, I took the top of my knuckle off, about a dime-sized piece of skin. And boy, let me tell you something, that hurt like a son of a gun. So it's going to take a while for that one to heal. I couldn't get the thing to even stop bleeding. Let's see. So right now, yeah, let's see. We're at 1,058. I'd have to go see what my, I can't remember what my, what do you call it, basis is for that. But I mean, I bought most of mine back in 2018, but then I did pick some up at that March 15th. So I know that part is doing very well. I keep flipping back and forth looking at the charts while I'm doing this, but I'm telling you right now, I got a feeling, everybody gets all excited about silver, but this is platinum is a real precious metal, and you watch what that thing's going to do. It's going to be impressive as all get out. 30 ounces of platinum puts you in a top 0.002% of the world, because I heard that if you had 30 ounces of gold, that puts you in the top 1% of gold holders. So knowing how little bit of platinum is out there in the world, that puts you way ahead of most people. So you ought to be proud about having that. And yeah, that's what it looks like. It's milk. Made some gluten-free blueberry, what do they call them? Like cupcake things or muffins. And I ate too many. I'm probably going to have heartburn because it's got a lot of oil in there. But I used coconut oil instead of the other kind of oils. Now, I'm going to try to do this. You guys remember last Sunday I did a video and I showed you my pitchfork charts, and normally that data I only do for members, but out of the generousness of my heart, I put it out to everybody. And I told you that I really felt like we had hit a bottom, and it had to do with the like the 50-week moving average and the 200-week moving average, where we were in the pitchfork charts. And I said, gold looks like it's bottoming. And lo and behold, gold has jumped up, I think, roughly $70. Silver has gone up roughly $2, but platinum is the story, like $200. It's amazing to me. So we'll just have to see if that thing keeps rolling or not. But somebody's probably going to look at it and go, no, you can't go that high, and they're going to, who knows. sometimes people, say they, bought this a long time ago and they want to, go buy a car or something, so they'll sell their platinum. But yeah, that was a significant breakthrough. And I talked about that in the chart last Sunday. I said, this thing looks like it's about ready to break out, and it sure has. So I'm happy about that. It's nice to see that. In fact, I forgot to look at like SBSW, which is our Sabine-Stillwater, to see how it did this week, but it should have done well with the platinum breaking out, because that's the PGM metals mining, but it also has gold mining as well. Yeah, you put me around any if you put me around any of these tools, eventually I'm going to hurt myself. But oh man, I forget how many cucumbers I did. I did a ton of cucumbers. We did a case of quart-sized jars of these bread and butter pickles, but I practiced with two quarts first and got the recipe down, make sure it would work, and then we went ahead and did a case. So that's a lot of work. Did anybody see the video of the it's like a radio telescope that crashed down, the cables broke and the thing crashed? I actually got to see some drone footage of it while it was up there inspecting the cables. The thing let loose and you got to see firsthand views of it. I've saw some really good analysis of this thing. I'm surprised nobody got killed, but they knew this thing was failing, and so everybody was being really safe and staying away from it. But this was a big, massive failure. I guess this thing was built decades ago. So, but that was something interesting that happened this week. And I hope you're paying attention to the community tab, because I posted something yesterday about the Georgia elections where they have it on video of them pulling out all kinds of transfer file boxes, I guess, with loaded with votes after they told everybody to leave when a pipe had burst. And nobody witnessed those votes being tabulated and everything. So this is there's some really good evidence that's coming out now, which I'd be shocked if this thing stands, So we'll see how it works out. I don't know. It seems like we're running out of time. They still have, a couple of weeks, well, actually till the 14th. So 9 days now, just a little bit over a week before the Electoral College does, but there's still time before the inauguration where Congress can do stuff too. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I looked at some of the miners, and it didn't look like they were doing quite as good as I would have thought with the way the metals had jumped. But I'm going to start putting together some charts probably later this coming week and try to see where we're at. Still got to do some rebalancing. This is where you need to think about this time of year, say closer to the middle of the month, but a lot of the major corporations or money managers start rebalancing their portfolios about this time. So think about over the next week doing the same. You kind of sell some of your winners, some of it, not all of it, and then you put it in some of your losers, and that's the way you can significantly increase your positions. But you also may have some new positions that you may want to add in with your winnings as well. So that's the way you kind of do it. And I've got it on my list to do, but I got to get my spreadsheet all set up and figure out how I'm going to do this. It's quite interesting. You never know. We're gonna have some exciting stuff by the end of this year. It looks like it's kind of doing what it did last year. Man, gold ran up like crazy last year, if you remember. Last week I was drinking grape juice. This week I'm drinking my milk. I looked at my milk as almost out of date, so I got to drink it up. Nothing like chunky milk. Let's see. I thought there was something else I was going to cover. Oh, all right. So I've got a 2015 Ford F-150, and I had to oil change today, and they said, by the way, this they have these plastic drain plugs, and you can see there's a green O-ring on there. And they said at each oil change, we're really supposed to change these out. And I went and looked up on Ford's recommendations. I said, yeah, I got to change this. Well, this thing is like $10. I think you can get them on Amazon for maybe like $7, but the oil change places will charge you maybe $11 for this thing. And I'm sitting there, this is on top of like changing your oil too. So, if you use synthetic oil and with my truck and you add the drain plug and everything, it's like $100 for a stupid oil change. And then I always get the tires rotated, and that's like the heavy truck tires, they always charge you more. So I think it was $30 for that. But anyways, I got to look and I said, this is dumb. But even on the Ford pickup truck, the oil filter is on the top of the engine. I don't know if you realize that. It's amazing. And they don't use the metal oil filters like, most people have used. They actually have this little plastic housing you have to undo, and then you put this paper filter inside, and then you put the plastic housing back on. But I thought, man, this is some weird stuff. It's the aluminum body truck. They're trying to lighten everything up that they can think about. But I did find a company, it's called Ronin, that it actually has a piece that looks like this that screws into your oil pan, but on the other side, it has a cap that comes off. So I've ordered one of those, and that was like freaking $80, but it's like a lifetime thing. You don't have to pay $10 every time. And it was, it's kind of an interesting thing. But I don't know if any of you guys know, but they're trying to get rid of every bit of metal they can to lighten things up. They start with the aluminum body, which was, tremendously more expensive, but it's a weight savings, but it never rusts and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Well, I just wanted you to realize I like to show you, real life stuff that's happening, but I thought that was really weird that they would do this. I mean, it adds a lot of cost when you think about it over the years, how many oil changes you have. I'm doing the synthetic, so I go about 5,000 miles, but still, I'm at 50,000 miles, so I've had 10 oil changes. So, that's $100 in these things that you're changing out. But that's the first time somebody said they were charging me for that. So maybe they just added in the cost of the oil change now. DW is here. DW, did you see the platinum? Platinum's going crazy. Have you guys done anything with your miners, or are you still just sitting pat? I haven't touched mine at all. I'm just leaving them because they're just doing so well. I do want to reiterate, this time of year is the time that you can pick up stuff that is, hey, Bilbo Stackins, you can pick up some stuff deep discount. I mean, people are either downsizing and moving somewhere they don't need all the stuff, or they're financial trouble, and there's just some unbelievable things that I'm seeing that you can improve maybe what you've got. Like I just give an example. I scan that Facebook Marketplace all the time, and one of the things that I'm seeing right now is a lot of people are unloading this china that they bought like in the 1980s, and they've used it twice a year, hand wash it, so they have it for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and Mikasa, I think, is one of them. But I found some of this stuff that I bet you would have cost $2,000 today to buy. In fact, Mikasa doesn't even make the detailed stuff that I'm seeing these people are selling. And you can pick this, it was like 120 pieces, 12 place settings, everything you can think of, the gravy boats, sugar, cream, you name it, everything on there for $200. And I mean, this stuff is way more ornate and beautiful. I mean, gold rimmed around the outside of the plates and all this stuff. And it's just one of those things that if you're looking, you can And especially if you're first starting out, don't go buy this stuff at the store when you can get these people. I guess they're in a different part of their life and they don't need it anymore. And you can pick up stuff that's just way better than that's even being made today. Yeah, I heard since like the 1200s, this is the first time we've had a Christmas star. So that's really interesting. Yeah, I probably need to do some of the charts to show the potential profit taking for these metals because it is just a natural thing. Yeah, I talked about DW at the beginning that the dogs kept knocking off the lower decorations with their tails when we were going in and out the front door. So I had to get it out of the way. And this is like the best place I've got, and it works well. We even got the star lit up. I finally got an extension cord and plugged that in. That actually looks pretty good. I thought the thing blinked or something, but maybe it doesn't. Yeah, so far I'm just sitting pat. I'm not profit taking. I'm not doing anything except for a little bit of rebalancing on the miners. I've got that on the list. It's not there isn't a critical timetable for doing that. I just try to get it in by the end of the year. I did do some at the beginning of the year too. It just depends how busy you are. If you're a long-term investor like me, it's just not that critical to try to do something by the end of the year. Just don't stress about it. I'll kind of show you the way I do it and see what you think. I told you I'm doing some analysis right now, looking at some other miners that we might want to front load, but I haven't finished yet. So again, don't fret about this stuff. You saw what happened this year. I mean, think about it. We kind of set up our portfolios, and then in February, I made some minor changes. We added some micro. What was it? I think there was like 2 micro miners we added some money in, but then we also did some of the micro royalty companies in February. And I'd say like 3 out of 4 of those did fantastic. So the timing worked really well. Yeah, I've been trying to pick up some sterling stuff, as you know. It's just more. I'm trying to buy things that actually are practical use. Different kinds of goblets. I'm kind of getting a little collection going. I showed, I think it was last week that I bought some. They look like silver shot glasses, so I've got one of those, and that kind of goes with my wine goblet and champagne ones. So it's kind of a little hobby I'm starting now. I don't know how many different forms of sterling silver cupware type stuff that you can get, but they have teapots, they have all kinds of things that you can get. So over time, we'll see how that works out, but I'm not going to go crazy. Yeah, I saw that there could be some tit for tat. I was just reading Zero Hedge was talking about Iran could say, hey, look, you think about it. Iran's had their nuclear guys been knocked off for probably 20 years. So we'll see what happens. That's always been a dangerous place over there. Yeah, gold goblets. I think I'd be getting the plated ones. Can't afford those because each of these goblets were, I forget what the number was, like 3.5 ounces of silver. Can you imagine it was 3.5 ounces of gold? Gee, Louise, that'd be expensive. It'd be like $7,000. Sorry. The saying, if you're born with a silver spoon, you never heard anybody born with a gold spoon. I've even found a bunch of people selling odds and end real silverware, not plated, but those guys don't even know that you need to weigh them. I keep telling them, tell me what the weight is and I'll tell you what I'll pay for them. But they like, I don't have a scale. I just don't buy things without knowing what the heck I'm getting. Oh yes, so I added in the video last week. I got to update it now because I planted let's say like 300 onions so far. I have 100 more onions I got to plant. So I got I think I planted 4 beds. I have one more bed that I need to plant with onions. And then I also planted my garlic. So I really don't do anything else this winter except for occasionally throw a little bit of fertilizer out there. And then in March is when I plant my potatoes, and then I plant my carrots and my beets and radishes, and really don't do anything else until summer. So there's just I've kind of got everything in now. I was contemplating like weeding my lower garden. That's a big area where I did the Three Sisters stuff because everything's dying back. So it'd be a really good time to go ahead and weed that. I was even thinking about rototilling it and, getting, some rabbit manure, put it in there and let it, kind of work through the winter. That might be the thing to do. But right now, Georgia is one of these things that's like 40 degrees and raining. It's what it feels like half the time. And it's just kind of a miserable month. So I'm probably not going to do much until March when things start waking up again. Finally, a county that has a brain. What does that mean? I'm still seeing, oh, country. Um, yeah, I can't talk anything about what's going on. I have a hard time believing this is going to go more than a couple more months. I mean, things are moving along rapidly. I think we found out the other side's incompetent now, and so we're just going to have to try to deal with their incompetence, and then I think things will start moving forward again. So, anyways, my attorney said they are ecstatic with me as a client. They never had anybody that's provided everything that they asked for so quickly and so thoroughly, and that's kind of the engineer in me. So I think the problem's all on the other side, and they're going to have to educate and hopefully get this thing straightened out. There's unfortunately stupidity involved here, and that's going to be a problem till we get it past that. So we'll see. Well, so Carlos, I have been saying from the beginning in 2018 when I started investing that this is the reset that's coming through. They're using this virus as the mechanism for the reset. And, by showing this chart where gold is on this very predictable path, kind of tells me that that's what they're doing. It's planned. It is very much planned. I think there's obviously nefarious things going on. Looks like my collar's messed up. Anyways, hopefully the good guys get this under control and they can keep it going in the right direction. So it's amazing how, I mean, I've been watching statistics about the number of people committing suicide, alcohol problems, drug problems, all this stuff, because they're kind of going crazy, being stuck at home with the kids and everything else. But I've talked about this for months before this all started, and I kind of indicated that everything was going to stop. and that we were going to go back to where somebody was going to have to stay home with the family, raise the kids. Everybody's expectations are going to have to change. You're not going to have, 5 TVs in the house, 4 cars, all this stuff, multiple generations living together. I just really think that that's where we're heading, because we're not going to have the type of economy we had in the past. Oh, goody. We get to talk about rabbits and chickens. Okay. Chickens take about 4 to 5 months from when you hatch them to when they start laying eggs, at least the Rhode Island Reds that I grow, which are kind of a multi-purpose, cold tolerant type thing. Rabbits, you really want to wait for the females to be about 6 months old. They'll mate much earlier than that, but you'll have small litters. But everything that I've researched says wait for the females to be about 6 months old. So it's about the same. And then they can start having decent sized litters. Yeah, so root veggies, what I did was all my carrots that I grew at the beginning of the year, I used some right away and made stews. The other ones I cut up and canned, and so that I could use them for stews later. If you do like rutabagas, which I never got around to planting this year, I wanted to plant a whole bunch of rutabagas. Rutabagas, you actually coat them with it's like some kind of vegetable wax, and then those things will store very well. But like beets, and I did a bunch of beets last year, and I did some videos and made a huge mistake of not wearing gloves, and I ended up with purple hands because you've got to like boil them a little bit, then you got to peel them, then you got to cut them up, and then you can them. And I don't even really like beets. I don't know why I do it, except for I'm practicing the fact that it's something that grows in the cold, and you're probably gonna have to learn to like some of this stuff. So I'm trying to do that. But I really like rutabagas. They're closer to a potato for me, and I've always used those in stews and stuff. But that's kind of the way you do it. There's different ways to prepare this stuff. Like the radishes, I kind of just eat those with salads and stuff, but you just throw them in the fridge. Garlic is easy. You pull them out of the ground and you just hang them up like you do onions until they dry out some, and then you just go get what you need when you need it. Or you can take them down, process them, and put them in jars in oil. Dice, what do you call it? I've got this garlic press thing that puts it into little pieces, or you can just take the whole garlic, what do they call that? Clove. You can stick the cloves in oil too, and that'll preserve them. I don't think they last more than a year though, so you got to use them up each season. I just threw away a whole bunch of garlic because I grow way too much garlic. Calvin, not that I'm recommending Fidelity, but I've been with Fidelity for probably 40 years through the 401ks, IRAs, all that kind of stuff. And Fidelity, very rarely do I run into problems trying to trade or purchase or trade any of these stocks. So that's who I've been using. But I bet you any of the bigger name ones, I never even heard of Webull. So, but if you go to Fidelity, you'll probably be a lot happier. It's kind of like a lot of people give Bank of America a bad name, but I'm gonna tell you, I didn't start with Bank of America. I started with the bank, like 6 banks ago, and another bank bought that one, another one bought that one, another one bought that one, until eventually Bank of America bought, the whole group of them. And so I've never changed banks, but my banks have changed me. And I'm telling you right now, I have so many options with Bank of America. It's fantastic. And that's why I stay with Fidelity. Same thing. I have tremendous opportunity of just doing anything, and tremendous support with Fidelity too. I love Fidelity. In fact, the charts that I use are from Fidelity Active Trader, which is a fantastic tool for those that like to trade a lot. I just like it because it's great for the YouTube channel to show some of these various portfolios that we set up. So it's, yeah, look at that. We got 32. So DW is pointing out we got 34 people watching and only 12 thumbs up. Yeah, I kind of miss my animals. I haven't had any animals because, when the old lady left, it's like I had other things to do. So I'm ready to kind of get them back set up again. I got a feeling, like I said, this will get cleaned up here pretty quick, and we'll go from there. Then I'll get back. I probably won't go whole hog with my rabbitry again, but we'll definitely have chickens and fill the freezers with chickens and a few rabbits. They do tie you down. If you get animals, they tie you down. They didn't support paper trading. I don't know what that means, paper trading. Did any of you guys watch the video I posted on the community tab showing the video cameras when they told everybody to leave because a pipe burst, and then the people still stayed there counting with no oversight, and they pulled all these things out from underneath the table? I mean, there's just such hokey stuff going on, but these guys got caught. God, I hope some of these people go to jail or go in front of the firing squad. The witness is in the house. Can't talk about any of this stuff till after. We'll let you know. I got a couple more months before I think this divorce will be finalized. I keep thinking I'm going to have more time to get on here, but it's like nothing's really happening until all of a sudden platinum blew out. So I got to do some charts. I got to go do some analysis. I want to see what the miners are doing related to platinum. I want to see if this is temporary. Sometimes I look at these metals and sometimes it's a whack-a-mole, right? Something has happened, it's temporary, and then all of a sudden you'll notice the thing will just nosedive back down. So I'm trying to determine, is this a real breakout and it has any legs or not? I don't know. No, actually, if you watch the news, first they said there was no fraud, and now they're saying, oh yeah, okay, there's some stuff, but it's not enough to affect the election, right? So that's what they're saying now. It's funny. They moved the goalposts, and it's just isolated. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't look too deeply here. My next stop for silver is like in the 30s, 30, maybe below 35. We'll see. But I couldn't tell you when. I have a different feeling about these metals manipulators. I'm not going to disagree that they have caught people doing certain things with metals, but they can't tell you, what impact those people have. A lot of people are ignoring the fact, starting in 2012, that real estate was the opportunity, not metals. And so a lot of money, including mine, rolled into real estate because that was the not even a gamble, but that was the trade of a lifetime. And so, once all the short sales and foreclosures dried up, then that's when you had, gold, silver, platinum. That was your next opportunity because, unless we had the economy going to crap and more real estate came up, I mean, don't be surprised if all of a sudden we have all kinds of short sales and foreclosures, gold and silver kind of come back down again because people are going to go to the sure thing, and real estate is a sure thing. People always have to have a place to live. And I'm telling you, when you can buy a $250,000 house for $120,000, I'll do that every day of the week. Buy things for $40 a square foot. I mean, most of the places around here are 160 right now. So you've got to do that when you get the opportunity. So it doesn't matter what tangible asset, you got to keep your eyes open and keep your feet moving, like you said. Yeah, this the last time the Christmas star came in was like 1200, as I was reading an article about that. This may not go to the Supreme Court. A lot of people don't understand, and I've covered this a couple times. That's one of the reasons why Rudy Giuliani is going to each of these state legislatures for the swing states, because he's trying to tell them to send their delegates, direct them to not vote with the supposed populist vote. And they can do that. They can go say, yeah, this was screwed up, and here's the margin of how it was changed, to Biden. In fact, one of the things said that Biden got 1.3 times the votes and Trump got, 70%. So every time somebody voted for Trump, only 7/10 of a vote went to Trump. Anytime somebody voted for Biden, they got 1.3 times that vote. So they're recognizing that if you take that calculation, move it back, Biden did not win in those states because of the calculation that was going on in the voting machine. And so therefore, they're not going to give Biden the electoral college votes, which means that Biden does not get to 270. Trump probably doesn't get to 270. So then it goes to Congress. Congress gets, each state gets 2 votes. And so if you look at it, Trump wins. So this doesn't even go to the Supreme Court. Now, there may be challenges and stuff. We'll have to see. But I don't think Supreme Court's going to determine this. This is going to be determined by the states and by Congress. And yeah, these swing states are all run by Republicans, legislatures right now. Patriot Man is here. Let me go through some of these because we have a lot of people on here. So Ode MMC, Aftermath, Greg Steinberg, Carlos. Let's go down here. DW, Bilbo Stackins, Susan Black, Eminem, Marco Polo. Did I get everybody? I'm looking. Edgewater Heating. A lot of comments. I've been trying to keep up with them. I probably missed a couple. Calvin State. Munch a Lot. The Witness. Did I say Edgewater Heating again? I think I did. Patriot Man. It's funny, it didn't want you to use the word Republican. I had to approve that. It's hilarious when you think about this stuff. This filtration, useless tube. Mr. Action, did I forget to say you? Sorry about that. Yeah, no, this is going to be an interesting thing as it plays out. The more I look at this, if people are not bought out, which the majority of them are, so I would just say if people are honest, I don't see how Biden gets into office. I don't see it. So we'll see. Just depends, if there's a real, we know they're all bought out. That's the hardest part about all this. It's just really hard. Yeah, for some reason, I was thinking each state got 2 votes, but I could be wrong. Nevertheless, it is quite an exciting thing watching the media telling us how it's really supposed to be and that we're just supposed to get over it and it's already been decided and ignore the Constitution, ignore the rules of how things work. They don't want you to know how all these things are supposed to go, and they just are trying to. I keep telling you, if you go with the odds are the media's been wrong all these almost 4 years that Trump's been in office, right? So why would you believe him now? These guys are as corrupt as they get. And I still don't understand why people aren't going to jail or even going up in front of firing squads. I mean, that's the only way I think we're going to clean this up. Yeah, that's what I had heard. I think it's 2 votes, but I'll try to dig it out and see, and I'll put it in the community tab if I can find where I'd heard that. But right now, there's something else going on right now, and it has to do with Giuliani's trying to work the electoral college approach. But if it gets to Congress and Congress doesn't like what the electoral college says, then they can apparently override the whole thing. So I think there's 2 stopgap measures, and then the last thing is going all the way to the Supreme Court. So we'll have to see how it works out. Yeah, Andrew Jackson also was about sound money, so there's probably a couple things going on there, Carlos. Yeah, I didn't realize Andrew Jackson got into Oval Office that way. That's kind of interesting. Buffering. Maybe it's that fancy Christmas tree. It's taking up too much bandwidth for you to see that. Let me get this other thing. I want you to see this. I love this thing. It's got like some kind of fan in here and it blows the sparkles all over the place. And this is heavy too. I don't know what I think this is actually made of metal. Maybe not, but it's heavy. And it's got a bright LED in there. And it just runs on batteries. But I saw this at a restaurant the other day. And I thought, where in the heck did you get this from? This is the coolest looking thing. And they told me it was at Hobby Lobby. So I went up there today and we got one that looks like this and another one that looks like a gingerbread house. But they're normally like $50. And this, they were half price. They're already marking everything down. In fact, the whole store is getting wiped out for the Christmas stuff because they marked it all down now. But I thought this was amazing. It's just such a cool looking thing. Good for grandkids. But I kind of stared at it the whole time when I was in the restaurant because I just thought it was so neat. Yeah, I went to a gun show a couple of weeks ago, and the ammo was outrageous. The people were selling their ammo. Yeah, I hope you are watching some of Rudy Giuliani's pitches because it's quite interesting. It's actually very, very good video. You can just play it in the background. It's not really, I mean, it's not like you actually have to watch. You can just listen to it in the background, but it should be mandatory for people to listen to this. Especially, I forget what the woman's name. He usually has her wrap up at the end, and she explains the constitutionality of it and explains that this is their job to follow the Constitution. And I always thought it was interesting that she's like having to educate them on their, not only state constitutions, but our government's constitution. So I thought it was really cool. Oh man, I got to get my spreadsheet out. I've got this spreadsheet. I keep telling you guys, I think it was back in 2012. I was tracking ammo like once a month, and I need to get it out and update it with. I was going to a lot of the online dealers and pulling down their prices, and it was for all different types of ammo. And I think that would be interesting to show the price change from when I was tracking it back then to today. I think I still have that spreadsheet somewhere. That would be really cool. That was one of the reasons why I was doing the spreadsheet, because back in 2012, I was saying lead was costing more than, or going up faster than gold. So similar things are happening right now. Yeah, lead and brass. Um, some of the shell casings are steel. I forget who it was that was making the steel casings, and because brass was getting so hard to, or so costly. Oh, wolf. Okay. I bought a reloading set a year ago, and I just haven't set it up, and probably never will right now, because you can't go get all the stuff you need for reloading. But I think I've got it set up to where I could do 45s, 38, 357, 30-06. Man, can you believe we've already been on here 47 minutes? That's ridiculous. Been talking, talking, talking. I'm probably going to do a video soon that talks about basic investing. I want to get back to the basics again. If you noticed at the beginning of, I think the community tab, I put my triangle thing up, and I want to talk about that again and point out, the basic things you should do, especially if you got a family and everything. You want to make sure you got reserve funds and all this, but how to properly invest, because I have a lot of new subscribers, and it's always good to go back to the basics to make sure you understand. Um, I might use an example of somebody that has maybe comes into $30,000 or something. What would you do if you had $30,000? This might be so we'll make some assumptions. We'll say, how old they are, and whether they're got kids, they got a plan for college, or if they're past that point, maybe some people that are older are getting inheritances. Maybe there could be a lot of things. So maybe this is the foundation for maybe retirement. They're starting late and they got to do it. All these things you got to ask some questions, and we'll do some what ifs and how you would maybe handle this. And I always should probably talk about, 9 times out of 10, this show is about what I am doing. I'm not telling anybody on here how to do anything. I'm just saying this is what I'm doing. I try to explain that I consider myself a savvy investor, and I'm just sharing what I'm doing. So I don't want anybody to ever think that I've told you to do this, that, or the other. I'm not managing anybody's money. This is about just sharing what I'm thinking and why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'll give you some examples of things that happened to me in the past, like when I had gotten an inheritance and how I thought through the problem and invested. And that might help you guys. So that's all. I try to give you my experiences. See all this gray hair up here? It's crown of glory in the Bible is what it tells you, but I'm trying to just pass on my knowledge. And I think it makes it'll make you a better investor to know what other people have done. But you don't have to do what I did. I'm just trying to help you guys. Um, it will let you know exactly what you need to do. Yeah, no, Henry Messias. When you buy, for instance, the candle holders, those are weighted. But a lot of these wine goblets and champagne goblets, and even the what was that other thing called, like the shot glasses, those are pure silver. There's no weights or anything in them. Hey, Munchalot, good deal. I'm glad you did that. It's something to be said about making a good move and having it work out the way you did. I believe a lot of times in that, like those 401ks, you're kind of in electronic funny money. And I've told you guys that starting in 2012, I started moving towards tangible assets. So I was getting out of electronic funny money. So I think that was a good move on your part. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm just trying to help you understand. And I mean, I tell you things where I screwed up too. It's not, but there was a saying in the Patriot, you aim small, you hit small. So when I've made mistakes, luckily, fortunately, they've been small mistakes because of the amount of analysis and everything that I do. And I take calculated risks. So I want you to be able to maybe learn from my thought processes and see if maybe you can. I mean, you might come up with some ideas I hadn't thought of. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I do this. We kind of collaborate, and we're going to. I call it like chalk talks, right? I'm going to do a chalk talk and talk through the thought process of this, that, or the other, and we'll see how it comes out. Right? It'll at least spur some conversations. And when I do these kind of videos, I mean, some people I've had people, really go crazy and upset, whatever, because, maybe they didn't take the same approach. But you know what? It gives me more material for another video. So I don't mind it. Did I get a new camera? No, this is the same camera. I've got a Logi. It says HD 1080p. I don't know. Maybe I dusted off the lens. Every once in a while, what happens is I screw up and I put the light on too bright, and you see how it washes it out. And I remember later to back it down. So that might be what happened previously. It still looks like it's a little too bright, but I had to get light on my face because the lights are more behind me. So I feel like I'm getting the third degree during this whole thing. Penny Pension Preppers in the house. Thank you, Bob Ott. I'm hoping I can get you guys information that can help. That's really what this channel has been about more than anything, is my chance to give back to the community. I have enjoyed our talks. I've enjoyed trying to tell you how I've done things. I'll never forget when I started buying the real estate in 2012. I had a lot of friends who are like, do you know what you're doing? Why are you doing? Oh my God, it could still go down. I'm like, look, I mean, have you ever heard of like the things is when they're already half price? I mean, how far can it go down on a tangible asset? You've limited your downside already. You've got really nothing but upside. And that's the way I look at it. So that's the old, when there's blood in the water, man, you got to go after it. When everybody's getting greedy, that's when you need to be scared. But I got nothing to prove to anybody. I'm not trying to make them, killing. You guys are contributing some things, which helps me a lot to keep an eye on things for you. And you've noticed that if you followed me from the beginning of the year, you ought to be just happy as all get out, because what I laid out has panned out very well. And we didn't gamble a lot. It was very calculated. I know some people, didn't follow the portfolio, but, it's up to you what your risk tolerance is. I'm trying to make it to where instead of it banging the rails, we're kind of just riding it right up like this. That's the way I designed the portfolio. And so far, I'll tell you, this has been amazing. So I'll put the numbers together for the end of the year where we're at and see how it goes. I'm still wondering if John's going to do his, what do you call it? He had a seminar or a symposia end of February last year. And then there was a minor one that was in the same area, Fort Lauderdale. So I'm hoping to go to both this year, make a whole week out of it. Patriot Man's in Mississippi. Yeah, we forgot to do that. I used to have people make sure you put in there where you're from. It's amazing when you see this stuff from all over the world. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm real close to an hour now. Oh, let me see. It helped me, moved into miners, gold, copper, and steel. FCX gives me copper and silver. I want to get into SBSW to add platinum to my mix. You know, I had, is FCX Freeport Moran? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember all these, ticker symbols, but I got into Freeport Moran a couple years ago due to one of my newsletters. And that was one of my first, like doubles that I had in 6 months, I think it was. And I was like, oh my God, this can happen. And I had done some of the other miners previously, but the gold and silver stuff, had been just going up and then back down and up and back down. But that I'd got 3 or 4 different things from one of my newsletters that said, you've got to buy these now. And I put like 1,000 each one of them. And it was like phenomenal. So some of those are incredible. I had fond memories of FCX. That's why I still remember it. Indiana, Foxborough, Kirkland, Washington, LA. Is that Louisiana or Los Angeles? Los Angeles. Sorry to hear about that. Man, I traveled to Los Angeles a lot, more than I care to admit. I used to have to go out there 1 week a month, it seemed like, for a couple of years. Oh God, do you remember that Cheech and Chong movie where he said I was born in East LA and he got deported? Oh God, I'll never forget that movie. That was the funniest damn thing. They made a song. I was born in East LA. I might be doing that wrong. Oh yeah. Moving to your state next year. I'll tell you, Georgia is a great place. I love Georgia, especially North Georgia. If you get in North Georgia, it's totally different. I love it up here. I still have this mindset. I've always wanted to have like 25 to 40 acres or something. And I still have this goal, and I might be able to achieve this over the next couple of years. I see that as a huge possibility. I'll tell you, Texas is one of the greatest states to live in as well. Texas is probably still, if you look, there used to be a thing where it's like the freest states. They're trying to pollute Texas right now with all the people moving from California and New York and everything else. But Texas still has some of the most conservative laws there is for, whatever you want, at least property laws, how you want to build your house, whatever you want to do with your property. It's fantastic. So I was born in Texas, but I've only lived out there a couple of years out of my whole life. But I've had to travel there quite a bit as well. And Texas is a great place to live. So anyways, I need to wrap this up. I'm wearing like heavy clothing. I don't know why I am. I'm hotter than anything right now. It's probably because I'm sitting by this light, but it's like, good grief. I got to go get down to a t-shirt here. So Elwood Blues. Hill country. Okay, interesting. I was born in Kingsville, Texas, so I was way down south, down by, it's like Brownsville. I was trying to think what the other city, Corpus Christi's near there. All there is a big King Ranch and a Navy base there. No ships, but more aircraft training type stuff. Windsor 4270, you're late. I'm just now wrapping things up. All right, so recap. Platinum is breaking out. I don't know if it's going to hold, but it is breaking out. It's up like $200 since, say, the end of October or something. It's like way up. Gold and silver are making a move right now, but not, breaking out by any means, but they're doing well. We're about ready to rebalance the portfolios, and I talked about that at length, and probably going to go back to the basics in some videos here talking about theoretically what would happen if, say, you got an inheritance of 30,000 or 100,000 or something. Some of the things that I did in the past to get you to think about that as well. Yeah, SBSW is it's PGM metal, so it's not just platinum, but it's rhodium, palladium, all that stuff. But it also has gold, so it's kind of diversified. But SBSW was something that we added to our portfolio last year, and it should be doing well. But I haven't monitored its progress. Sometimes when these metals move like this, the miners don't move right away. They kind of move on like quarterly. What do you call it? Like their statements and everything. They don't move just because the metals move. So you got to wait for the next quarterly reports and stuff. At least that's what I've noticed. Unless there's like some major findings or something that come out. Yeah, physicals are very liquid. You have all of these dealers that you can go trade it right back into fiat currency if you want, or you can switch from silver to gold or silver to platinum or gold to platinum. I mean, you can do anything you want, but you have premiums and other things you have to factor in, depending on what form you bought, and how you report things on your taxes. You have to do your capital gains. Hopefully they'll get rid of that at some point. So it's up to you to keep track of your basis for this stuff. Rhodium is pretty much an industrial metal. I talked about it was platinum, palladium, and something else. They were doing a three metal for catalytic converters now. And so it was going to level out the prices of these metals where they used to do the swap. I talked about platinum and palladium kind of cross, we'll have platinum go down, palladium's going up, and then they'll reverse the other way, So it's kind of one of those things that they're trying to now make it to where they'll all kind of go up at the same time and not as much. Instead of parabolic, they'll just kind of go up whatever inflation is or cost of manufacturing, that kind of stuff. So, and remember, you can sell to your friends. You can, trade I should probably set up a trading capability among folks on this channel. Even that might be interesting. We could do like the Dobson Craigslist for precious metals, swapping back and forth. Anyways, I hope everybody's treating you well. I hope you're doing well. Do the best you can. God bless.